Alrighty then, it's time for a Hecarim game, and it's again continuing the whole discussion video thingy. And this game was literally played today, and the reason I'm uploading it, because it perfectly shows just, what Hecarim is supposed to do, so to speak. I do fuck up several times, just keep that in mind. Anyways, the reason I really chose to just kind of upload this and play Hecarim is because a lot of people think I consider Hecarim just outright unusable. I think of him as a bad jungler, right? When you consider everything a jungler is supposed to do or function, he fails on a lot of things. However, his damage is pretty fucking crazy. If you get snowballed, if you get fed, you snowball out of control and you just smash people. He might be one of the most aggressive and violent snowballers in the entire jungle. You have Skarner, who just does a lot of sustained damage and, gets really tanky and just unkillable. You have Lee Sin, who just keeps ganking people and you can't do anything because he's just too mobile. Hecarim, on the other hand, is someone who just kind of like stomps your face and then kills you before you get to do much. And if you survive, he mows you down. You'll see that come into play a little bit of times throughout this game. Right now, I'm just trying to cheat out an advantage. I'm trying to find any opportunity to kill somebody and try to use that to snowball out of control in this game. Luckily, I find Lee Sin, and you can see he gets chunked down by me in Gangplank. Pretty much easy peasy kill. This is actually a pretty pivotal kill right now because it's going to allow me to get the Warrior very soon. And once you get Warrior on Hecarim, of course I buy boots first and then 2 longswords, it just becomes ridiculously crazy. Right now my bottom lane is yelling at each other, fighting with each other. If you watch the streams, you know exactly why they were fighting since Champion Select. But they're demanding I come gank bottom for them. And this is what I mean by the whole violent tendencies of Hecarim. You cannot afford not to go all in as him because his ganking is very inefficient with his E. He's got no real crowd control outside of his ultimate, and his damage is pretty much just pure melee. So you have to somehow get on top of the enemy team or get on top of the enemy target and just start slashing away at them. Here, same thing as Cassidy. He's got himself completely out of position in his attempts to kill Lissandra, and I was able to pick him off. And there, I'm gonna have to say it again. I don't think he's a perfect jungler. He's got a lot of weaknesses, a lot of things that aren't right on him. He's got pretty poor early dueling. His sustain isn't quite there yet. He's got no real ganking pressure besides having a lot of damage. So if you are able to actually slam somebody, you could kill them. But you don't have any CC to control somebody, and your damage again is pure melee. So that's a pretty bad combination. But the amount of damage he can exert on somebody, if he manages to actually catch them with his E and then his Q and then just start grinding them down, is tremendous. And with his ultimate, the chances he has to actually pin someone down enough for him to just cut them to pieces is pretty damn brutal. He just, the way his Q scales and the way he scales per level is just what makes him such a dangerous snowballer. He requires levels more than he requires most anything else. Although, of course, items are a really nice thing to get with him. In this game, you can see I'm going to go pure damage. Mostly pure damage. After a while, you got to go some tankiness. So you're going to see me do quite a bit of damage. Either way, Hecarim is one of those champions that I don't recommend on almost anybody because it requires you, if you're not already an aggressive person, to become an aggressive person. If you're a person who doesn't, who's a little too cautious, you might not do all too well with Hecarim. You cannot pussyfoot around with him. You kind of have to go all in each time you go in. You can't. You have to be very greedy with him. You can't just keep donating buffs. You can't just keep donating farm. You have to take everything for yourself. That's why they used to call him the greedy tank, because back when it was a comparison between Hecarim, Malphite, Maokai, and those kinds of stuff, who would you pick? Hecarim was just said you would pick him if you can guarantee that you're going to be controlling the buffs and getting all the kills and whatever. This can be seen as both a negative and a positive for Hecarim. Negative in that the rest of your teammates are going to be starved, because as you can see, I'm trying to take everything for myself and getting myself pretty big. Positive in that as a jungler, if you just happen to sometimes get a mistake in, you accidentally take a kill when you wanted to donate to somebody, most junglers would kind of be fucking their team over, because that gold won't be put to the best use, such as Nautilus getting kills. However, Hecarim, if he gets kills, he only gets stronger, so who cares? So that's a positive. You don't have to be too careful as Hecarim for the efficiency of your team, because you can be the team yourself. Like here, watch this. They engage on the Vayne, but then they all get a little bit too close together, and I just come roaring with my ultimate. Rammus immediately dies, Thresh is immediately blown to bits, and then we just chase after the Tristana. Like, she tries to run away, and she's not gonna get anywhere. Same thing here, though. Kassadin comes in. Well, watch Tristana die. Kassadin comes in, and I just turn around and just use the momentum I have just to sort of hurt him. That was quite a bit of damage for just one Q. If he had actually gone all in, or if I actually had the mana, he would have died for his hubris. Either way, again, I don't exactly recommend it for players, yada yada, because you got to have an aggressive spirit with him. And at the same time, if you get behind this Hecarim, you kind of will just get crushed. He is a very snowball dependent champion, unless you get farm, which is kind of why he excels in top lane sometimes, where you just farm it up. It substitutes your requirement for kills. But in the jungle, if you can't get kills, then you're kind of be useless. Like, again, at most your ultimate is your only utility because it can fear people and do some good damage. It's kind of like a different version of a Malphite ultimate. But if in the case that you're not actually going to get the gold or entitled to it, you might as well have picked somebody else. Hecarim's win rate is around 51% right now, so he's winning as much as he's losing, basically. Just a little bit more wins. And that just kind of tells you that a lot of he could snowball the games and just win them. Check out his wins per the length of the game. But as the game goes on, he just kind of gets weaker. And I would say that's a testament to his early weakness as a jungler, in that other aggressive junglers like Lee Sin or Lee Sin, Dr. Mundo, kind of shit on Hecarim. Like, I'm very fortunate that my opponent was Rammus. Rammus is someone who's not going to deal with other junglers or really fuck with me, so I was able to safely pick Hecarim and be fine with it. But if the jungler was Lee Sin, I'd be a little bit more hesitant, because Lee Sin would crush me early, or if I were to go for a gank, he would counter gank me and just smash my teeth in. But so I got to snowball out of control. You can see I have 7 kills right now. I already have a Trinity Force. If I actually manage to get somebody, I do quite a bit of damage. Here we're just running around in circles and I'm not really achieving much, but just watch this. Tristana managed to kill the Vayne, and I managed to catch her and just chunk her down. That's a delicious amount of damage right there. In fact, here, I'm not actually going to be able to obtain a kill, but Lee Sin and the enemy Kassadin are getting a little cocky. So I smashed Kassadin for a bit of his damage, for a bit of his health. And if he actually had continued the fight and was in a different position, I probably would have been able to kill him rather quickly. So there. It's just kind of Hecarim in a nutshell. I'll actually pick him if I feel I need to win, because prior to this, I think I was in a 7-game losing streak across my different accounts. I was just not having a good time. And I decided, fuck it, I'll just pick a snowballing champion and dominate with him and see if I can just shut out a game. And I picked Hecarim, and you can see I'm quite fit. The game is not as much of a shutout as I had hoped it would be, but still, it's showcasing a lot of what Hecarim can do, at least damage Hecarim. Taking Hecarim is a bit of a different beast. Although, again, you kind of just want to kill things as Hecarim more than kind of be a tank. Anyways, my ultimate there completely fucks up, and as a result, I just kind of get obliterated. You can see me that I did quite a bit of damage, but it still resulted in a catastrophic loss for my team, so that was a big fuck up on my part. If I had hit my ultimate better, and I've actually feared a few people, we would have probably won that. So, though, you can see Nunu's kind of, support Nunu's kind of being a huge bitch to the enemy team. It's quite hilarious. If you've noticed throughout the whole game, he's been there getting kills against itemized opponents because they get too overconfident against him. Anyhow, I actually forgot to tell you the runes and masteries for Hecarim. There is still the same standard fare. Attack damage red, attack damage quints, although some people like attack speed quints. Armor yellow, magic resistance blues, and I believe I had 12-18-0. I got Thunderlord's Decree, I believe. It's mostly because that thing is pretty strong right now. Anyways, we engage again. You see me, I just turn around trying to CC people out against the Vayne. Even though I am damaged, I can still technically use my ultimate for some CC or some peeling power. I thought Tristana was going to jump over the wall, that's why I went that path. So you saw me use my ultimate just to defend the Vayne there. And it worked out well. I was able to fear 3 people and then just kill I believe I killed one of them, and Vayne was able to eviscerate the rest of the enemy team. Either way, Hecarim still, I gave him a C rank for the jungle meta health. Him being at 50% just kind of shows that the players who are good at Hecarim can't just slaughter people as Hecarim. That's kind of the gist of it, snowball and win. But being 50% also says that he's just kind of there at the moment, just kind of average. Some people have said he's like insanely overpowered or insanely good, or were chastising me for giving him a C rank. But again, his 50% win rate just speaks volumes to the whole meta health thing. In this fast meta, a lot of his aggressors are more common, so he's sort of just kind of falling on the wayside. The only ones who would probably play Hecarim in the jungle, in the lane is a completely different story, are the ones who really like it, or the ones who really, really want to win, like me right now. Anyways, as again, the enemy team gets caught and gets almost killed. We trade my life for 3 of theirs, but for whatever reason, my team decides to do Baron, even though I told them, I'm not there, you don't have smite, and Nunu is pretty much low health. So as a result of that, my team gets utterly wiped out. Well, almost wiped out. Vayne gets to survive by running away. Tristana gives chase, but it gets her nowhere. So that's a very unfortunate situation, and now we're sort of in the defensive again, because even though we were kind of ahead or I'm super fed, I can still get killed if Rammus taunts me or if I get in a bad situation. Of course, I still got to be aggressive because that's kind of all Hecarim has. You have no utility. If you get engaged upon, you have less of a chance of actually achieving anything. Fortunately, as you saw, the enemy team wasn't grouped together, so my reckless initiation actually went somewhere. Although I have to give it more to the Gangplank ultimate being spot on. And of course, Alessandra, she's kind of doing a lot of work, even though she got fucked up a lot. You can see how much assist she has. And the Nunu too. And the Nunu too. He's been fucking godly this entire game, although he's been bitching at the Vayne since the very start. Anyways, my teammates go for the mid. I'm farming down bottom just to keep getting more gold, because the more gold I get, the stronger Hecarim gets. It's just kind of gist of it. But as soon as we go for Dragon, the enemy team makes a move for Baron, because we notice their movement for Baron, so we have to just high bolted there from Dragon. And all I'm thinking is their damage against Dragon is pretty low because Lee Sin is nowhere around there. So I decide just to make a gung-ho charge against it, use my ultimate as soon as I get nearby, and then I just start doing damage to the Baron myself, just counting down until it gets to about 800, and then I smite it and manage to steal it, and the W from Hecarim keeps me completely alive. So we're able to completely and utterly wipe them. Well, right now, Tristana gets chased down by the Lissandra and killed, and that's a complete ace and a Baron steal, and I'm pretty sure their morale is completely destroyed. Surprisingly, they don't surrender at all, so we're able just to take down these towers. I mean, we have to take out these towers and the Nexus inhibitor, and the Nexus towers, and then the Nexus itself. So hooray for Hector, we win. It was quite the stomp after a point, but that's kind of just speaking volumes of Hecarim's snowballing potential and his high-ass damage if he gets fed. So hooray for the pony. This channel is supported by my sponsors, Crunchyroll, Pro Build Systems, and Loot Crate. Check out the description below for links to the websites. Signing up for any trials, including Crunchyroll's free anime trial, greatly supports my channel. Also remember to give the video a like to support the channel and subscribe if you haven't yet.